Hi, and welcome back to Annie First. The story begins with a 17-year-old boy named Azadi, who was the most cowardly little twerp in the world of football. It was the final match of the national football selection, and the team that wins the game will head to the tournament. In the final moments of the game, Azadi gets the ball from his teammates and is one-on-one with the goalkeeper. His team are down 1-0, and this goal would mean that they can send the game into extra time and hopefully win it. However, Azadi made the biggest blunder in the history of football and passed the ball to his trash teammate. Even Messi announced his retirement after watching this, and of course, his teammate misses the ball, which then rebounds to an opposing player who plays a long pass to the striker Kira. The boy takes the ball and slams it into the net, giving his team a 2-goal cushion and, more importantly, winning the game. As a result, Azadi was devastated and couldn't think straight anymore. A year spent as an average player on an average team without making it to the nationals leaves Azadi distraught. However, a letter from Japan's National Sports Committee presented him with an opportunity to go pro by joining one of their training facilities. Despite his uncertainty about his abilities, Azadi decides to visit the next day. On the way, he encounters Kira, who also received an invitation. The two quickly form a bond, sharing similar beliefs in the essence of football. Upon arriving, they discover a gathering of aspiring strikers, including renowned names like Okawa Ishikari and the Messi of Almari, filling the facility. The stage is set as a peculiar figure, called Jonpachi Ego, introduces himself and declares his mission to mold the perfect striker who will bring a World Cup trophy to Japan. Ego reveals that Blue Lock is the facility where 300 players will compete over the next few months, with only one emerging as the chosen striker. Despite opposition to Ego's focus on individual glory, he cites examples of football legends like Eric Cantona, Pelé, and Noel, emphasizing the importance of Ego in achieving greatness. Frustrated with his average status and past missed opportunities, Azadi is the first to embrace the challenge presented by Blue Lock. All players, including Azadi and Kira, change into their assigned outfits, each bearing a unique number indicating their rank. Ego explains that their ranks can improve based on their progress in Blue Lock, but tests and eliminations lie ahead. Only the top 5 players will earn a spot in the Under-20s World Cup, while eliminated players lose the chance to play for Japan nationally. Ego swiftly initiates their first test, a game of tag with 136 seconds on the clock. The goal is clear: be the last person with the ball to avoid elimination. The game unfolds with players strategically tagging opponents. Azadi struggles due to his limited skills until he spots a sleeping player, Bakira. As Azadi attempts to tag him, Bakira wakes up and kicks another player named Igarashi. Tempers flare, leading to confrontations among the players. With 1 minute left, Azadi becomes it and proceeds to desperately chase others. Faced with the opportunity to tag a lower-ranked player, Azadi hesitates, realizing he needs to eliminate someone of higher rank to succeed. Unexpectedly, Bakira takes the ball from Azadi and passes it to him. In the final moments, Azadi, driven by instinct, scores a crucial point by slamming the ball into Kira's face. The test concludes, setting the stage for the intense competition and challenges that await the players at Blue Lock. The round comes to an end and Kira is eliminated. When the buzzer beeps, Kira is outraged. He can't believe that Azadi did such a thing. But then the ego within him starts to show, and he starts boasting that he's a better player than everyone competing and needs to stay. The elimination was unfair, as the time given was very short, and that this drill has nothing to do with actual football. Ego, then, shows up to clear the enraged man's misconceptions. He states that the area they are playing in is the same size as a penalty area, and the amount of time given to them is in fact the average time that a normal player would get the ball in a regular game. Ego states that Kira was eliminated because of his own incompetencies, and it was not Azadi's fault. Kira then marches out of the place, giving Azadi the stank eye. Having just ended the career of a really decent person, Azadi feels ecstatic. He asks Bakira why he passed the ball to them at such a crucial moment, and Bakira smiles, telling him that he knew he would eliminate Kira. Ego then announces their journey had finally begun in Blue Lock. The 11 players in each of the rooms were now each other's teammates and also each other's rivals. The training finally begins and Azadi is already overwhelmed. All of his team members exceed him in skills in almost every aspect of the game. He's so average when it comes to his skills compared to the others. The very first night he can't sleep, thinking about his lack of ambition and skills, and decides to head out for a late-night practice session. Azadi comes across Bakira, who wants to practice with him too, so both of them head to their assigned field. During practice, Azadi once again asks Bakira the actual reason why he passed to him during the first test. And this time, Bakira tells him that just like all the famous players in the world, Messi, Ronaldo, he too has a monster in him that tells him what to do during the game, and it just so happened that the monster told him to pass to Azadi at that moment. Bakira tells Azadi that since he knew he had a monster in him too, he passed the ball. And Azadi did as he predicted and eliminated Kira. Azadi wonders if he really has a monster in him. Suddenly, an announcement from Ego sends them back to their rooms. Ego says that their rankings have been updated and that they were now ready for the next stage of the tournament. Izadi is now ranked 274. The man then explains that the whole facility is divided into 25 teams, a total of 275 players. After the elimination of one from each of the teams earlier on, if the players perform well and improve their rank, they'll get better facilities at Blue Lock, and the lower-ranked players will have to suffer their consequences. Also, now the teams would be facing an actual game. The games would be played among 5 teams, and each team would be playing against all the other teams. The 2 best teams would be saved from elimination, while the lowest 3 would be removed from the facility, losing the possibility to play for Japan ever again. But among the losing teams, the top scorers would be able to stay. In the facility, Team Z faces a dilemma as all members are strikers, so they resort to a game of rock, paper, scissors to determine the forward position. Izadi wins, becoming the striker for their crucial 45-minute game. However, losing more than one match would jeopardize their standing, which pushed them to approach every game with a must-win mindset. As the match unfolds, Ego's plan unravels, with Team Z players prioritizing personal scoring over team victory. Conversely, Team X, led by Barrow, showcases seamless coordination, scoring 5 goals by the 42-minute mark. Bakura, exhausted, urges Izadi to score a goal to boost their morale. Izadi, faced with defensive pressure, spots open teammates Reichi and Kunigami. Despite Reichi's availability, Izadi instinctively passes to Kunigami, who scores. The game concludes 5-1. Post-game, Barrow criticizes Izadi's inability to shoot, and Reichi expresses frustration at not receiving the pass. Internal disputes persist, with Chikri questioning Ego's fixation on Messi and Ronaldo, who haven't won World Cups. Izadi proposes transforming their chaotic style 0 into cohesive gameplay 1. Ego arrives, acknowledging the potential merit in their idea and emphasizing the importance of individual skills and versatility. He discloses Team V's 8-0 victory, urging Team Z to accelerate preparation for the upcoming match. Team Z finally decides to get their heads straight and to discuss their special abilities so that they can use this to enhance the way they play as a team. While all the other players have one special skill or another, like Reichi has the best shooting skills, Kunigami has the best left-footer mid-range shot, and Momura has great speed and technique. Bakura is a great dribbler of the ball. Izadi has nothing that he can put his finger on, only he and Chigri are unable to state their special talent. Quan tells them that's fine for now and also explains the new way to play. They will take alternate turns playing as the striker and find rhythm in their game. The team then heads to practice. After practice, Izadi heads to dinner very late. He meets Kunigami there, who thanks him for passing the ball to him in the game earlier, and also decides to share his steak with him. Turns out that goal scorers get tons of good food based on the number of goals, and Kunigami wanted to give half of the steak to him since half of his goals credit goes to Izadi. The next game soon arrives, and this time Team Z is pitted against Team Y, led by their main man Okawa, who's renowned to be a fierce striker. Team Z is well prepared for the game though, and this time, instead of bickering amongst themselves, they pass the ball around. However, Team Y seems to have learned a lesson after their thrashing by Team V and put up a really resilient defensive show. Even after putting all of their abilities to best use, Team Z finds it hard to crack the defense. Suddenly, the ball rolls over to a guy named Nico, who quickly scopes out the area and sends a long ball towards the free Okawa. Team Y had planned this all along, and right when Team Z's defense was stretched, they played the perfect counterattack. Okawa gets the ball and chips it over the keeper to score, getting his team to 1-0 before the break. The second half begins, and Team Y is no longer interested in attacking at all. They pass the ball among themselves to run down the clock. Even after changing tactics and strikers several times, Team Z hasn't been able to break through. Soon, Kagamaru is the striker for Team Z, and Isagi plays a long ball toward him. Even though Izadi had overshot the pass, Gegamaru managed to reach it and get Team Z their first corner, being their first goal-scoring chance. Team Z gets all their players forward, but Izadi has a really bad feeling about it and races back to his own goal. As the corner comes in and is sent out of the box towards Nico, Izadi snatches the ball in time and takes a shot. The ball strikes the keeper, but Gagamaru is there to score on the rebound, and Team Z is finally back in the game. Izadi had realized that Nico was the one controlling the game, and if he took care of Nico, Team Y was pretty much useless. Izadi and Nico seem to be the same when it comes to gameplay, and Izadi can judge his every move. The game progresses and Izadi intercepts almost all of the balls played to Nico. Team Z seems to be the team likely to score next, but Team Y still has a plan up their sleeve. At the final minute, all 10 outfield players of Team Y pace towards the goal in an all-out attack, startling Team Z. Nico leads the attack and quickly makes it to a one-on-one situation with the keeper. Instead of shooting, Nico passes to an open Okala. The ball, however, is intercepted by Azadi. Azadi knew Nico would do that because before coming into blue lock, he would have done the same. Azadi then passes the ball ahead to Bakira and ultimately gets the ball himself and scores an outrageous goal, shattering the hopes and dreams of Team Y. The game is won, and he stands before his vanquished enemies, having won the game. Team Z enjoys 2 steaks for the 2 goals they have scored and has a good celebration. However, even at night, the thrill of the game has taken all the sleep from Asadi's eyes. He gets up to see the footage from the game and finds Chigri in the camera room analyzing the game himself. He mentions that he has what most players lack, spatial awareness, and that is his special skill. He can evaluate what is going to happen in the game and sniff out a goal before anyone else. Asadi thinks about it, and even though he can't control it, he knows that perhaps Chigri was right. Asadi then praises the man for his skill, but Chigri is still adamant that he doesn't want to reveal his skills. Instead, Chigri tells him about the ACL tear that he had a few years ago, and that coming to Blue Lock was his way of parting ways with the game. He was here to find an excuse to stop playing since he was scared that he would be injured again. Asadi argues that if Chigri really wanted to lose, he would have by now, and explains that the boy has a fighting spirit just like him. But Chigri ignores him and walks away. Later during practice, Ego announces the new rankings based on their performance, and Asagi is now the best player among his teammates. He now has to increase his skill and get better at controlling his newfound ability, spatial awareness. Along with their rankings, the latest results from the table are displayed as well. 4 teams are now tied at second place with 3 points each, while Team V is pulling away with 6 points. Their next game is against Team Do, and the whole group sits down after practice to strategize. Normally, Kwon would be the one briefing the plan, but he's in a long shower. So Lemon, their regular goalkeeper, explains the plan as best he can. He seems to know the 2 main players of Team Doa, Kazuki Wanama, and his big brother, Junichi Wanama. These 2 are really strong and have great coordination skills. All they had to do was stop the link-up between the brothers, and they could win the game. Kwon arrives just then and further explains a few more moves that they could perform during the match. This time, they will play with 3 main forwards and rotate every 30 minutes. The next day, Team Z is ready to press on with the game and finally play some really good football against Team Doyu. The 2 lead brothers from Team Doyu start the game really strong and make pass after pass with each other. Chigri and Asadi are the 2 final center backs, and they easily manage to get past Chigri. The 2 brothers try to manipulate Chigri and use his weak ACL to scare him from tackling them, but Asadi comes to the rescue just in time. He would not let them pass. Soon enough, with Asadi's defensive performance and everyone's collective efforts, Kwon scores 3 amazing goals. Heading into halftime, they are up 3-0. Everything seems to be going perfectly, almost too perfectly. The second half begins with Reichi, Bakira, and Kwon at the front, and everything is looking solid. However, the brothers from Team Daliu seem to have dropped to midfield. They quickly steal the ball from Kwon and race past everyone to make the score 3-1. Kwon seems to have lost concentration for just a second, thinking it just to be a one-time thing. The team resets and begins play, but yet again, Kwon plays an underplayed back pass, and yet again it is intercepted. The brothers scored it again, making the score 3-2, and suddenly the realization hits. All the goals up until now were scored by Kwon, and all the strategies were made by him. Asadi could suddenly no longer find any passes. His spatial awareness was now useless. The ball is intercepted yet again, and while in defense, Kwon purposely misses a header. The score was now 3-3. He had betrayed them. Isagi's eyes widen, and he confronts his teammate about it. Kwon comes clean after witnessing their loss against Team X, and then barely beating Team Y with just a single goal. He could no longer trust in the team's ability, so he made a deal with Team Doa to become the top scorer and then get rid of his team. Kwon was no longer their teammate. He was Team Dilu's 12th man. The game suddenly turns on its head. It is now 12 against 10. Kwon takes the ball away yet again, and this time, fires another shot. Thankfully, Lemon stops the goal from happening, but Team Do was in total control at the moment. With 5 more minutes to go, Team Z was looking like they were headed out of Blue Lock, never to achieve their dreams. Chigri gets frustrated at himself. He remembers the time back in his childhood when he used to have that hunger in him as a striker. When he was younger, the Wanama brothers arrived at his school, claiming to be the next hotshots in football, so he had to show them with his skills how he was superior to them. His speed was something else, and his close control made him a formidable force, while the Wanama brothers couldn't even make the starting lineup. Chigri was in his prime. He felt he could beat the world. However, the day came that he suffered an ACL tear, a dangerous, potentially career-ending injury for a football player to face. Chigri was devastated and put into rehabilitation for several months. Since he was still young, he would recover, but the doctors told him that if there was a similar injury again, he would probably never be able to play again. These words got to Chigri's head, and ever since, he was never able to use his full speed. It was as if he had shackles holding him down, put there by his own mind. The 5 remaining minutes of regular time are up, and a final 3 minutes are added. It was now or never. Isagi has the ball but has no one to pass to. In a desperate attempt to score, he goes in by himself, pushing a frozen Chigri, and tries to score but fails. Chigri is irritated but realizes that Isagi is just like he used to be, believing that he can be the best in the world and putting everything into football. Suddenly the fire comes back to him. If in the next few minutes he couldn't do something, his journey in football would be over, and deep within, he did not want that to happen. Chigri suddenly makes a run, and Isagi notices and makes a long pass towards the goal line. At this moment, the whole team Dolly is confident that this is just a wasted effort, but their eyes widen when they see Chigri racing towards the ball. Even as the keeper is about to get it, he manages to get a toe on it and scores the goal in the very final moments. The game is tied, and the final whistle blows. Elsewhere, Team V has had another comprehensive 5-2 victory. The entire Team W is livid with Kwon and starts beating him up for not revealing that Chigri had gotten over his leg problem. Even though Kwon repeatedly states that he didn't know anything about it, they just pile over him until they are stopped by Isagi. After the game though, Kwon still hasn't changed. He's already in the room of Team V, making the same offer that he made to Team Doi, to let him score against them, and he would reveal all the strategies of Team Z. Unluckily for him, Team V is not a scummy bunch. They're confident in their own tactics and don't need to be told what to do and how to do it. The team meeting kicks off on a sour note as Team Do draws their game with Team Y, now tied in points with a significantly poor goal difference. Team Z faces the imperative of winning against Team V to qualify. The challenge is formidable, considering Team Z is a player short, and Team V is known for their ruthless goal-scoring prowess. Kwon, the top scorer, refuses to participate, as his selection is guaranteed even if Team Z loses. Lemon reveals that Team V's strongest players, the Deadly Trio, have already scored 18 goals in 3 games. Jantetsu Toriji with 5 goals, Ryurio with 6, and Shishida Naji leading with 7 goals. The key to victory lies in stopping them. In Team V's locker room, Naji returns early from training, emphasizing his minimal need for extensive practice. Rio, a wealthy student who recently discovered a passion for football, convinced Naji to embrace the sport. Rio's parents oppose his football aspirations due to a late start, pushing him to prove them wrong. Despite Naji's extraordinary talent, he initially had no interest in football. Rio promised him a carefree life if he became the best footballer. Back in Team Z's dressing room, it's evident that Kwon remains uncooperative for the upcoming game. Ego appears on the screen, showcasing new rankings where Kwon, despite apparent cheating, holds the top spot. The stakes are high, lose, and only the top scorer stays in blue lock, while the others are eliminated. Ego emphasizes the need for repeatable success and urges them to play as if victory is destined, not relying on chance. Frustrated, Izadi heads to the practice field, encountering Barrow of Team X, the building's top scorer. Despite initial reluctance, Barrow engages in one-on-one matches with Izadi. Barrow's perfected technique becomes evident as he scores impressive goals from various distances. Izadi learns the importance of keeping one's ultimate skill hidden, thanking Barrow despite the humiliation. The next day, Team Z surprises everyone with their preparation. They successfully thwart Rio, Naji, and Jantetsu's attempts. Izadi plays a long ball to Gagamaru, narrowly missing a shot. They are all fired up until the ball lands at Rio's feet. He glances once at Naji and launches a ball toward the goal, a ball so overplayed that the whole team lets it go. But Naji doesn't give it up. He ends up scoring a brilliant goal out of nowhere. That was the difference in class between the two teams. Team Z tries to shake it off and start an attack, but again the ball is stolen away and finds its way to Naji. This time the guy is surrounded though. Surely he couldn't score is what everyone thinks, but he surprises everyone yet again by pulling off a bicycle kick out of nowhere. It was all too easy for a genius like him. 2-0 down, and this time, Isagi tries to release Chigri, their new secret weapon, but it turns out that Jantetsu is as fast as Chigri and can cover all his moves. The man swipes the ball from Chigri and launches a counter, scoring a phenomenal goal from far out. Team Z is devastated. They seem to have lost even before the first half was over. Their chance of victory was wearing thin, and so was the enthusiasm of the entire team. Everyone is disappointed, but Baker is pumped up. He's excited that he's facing such an incredible team and wants to show that he can do incredible things too. Since only something magical could turn their games now, he decides to show off his hidden potential. As the monster inside of him screams, Bakura gets the ball from Izagi and dribbles past everyone on the field. He amazes even the opponents with his skills and scores with the Rabona. In this pressure situation, the team finally gets pumped up again. They know now that all they have to do is go above and beyond their limits and play like there was no second chance to find their true hidden ability. The ball then goes to Kunigami, and he knows that he can score if he gets the ball in a 23-meter range. But the area before him is crowded, and he has to take the shot. Now, he decides to trust his abilities and shoots from 28 meters out. The ball whizzes past the defenders and turns at the very last moment, entering the net, making the score 3-2 heading into the second half. Team Z is still in the game with the score at 3-2. They are confident that they can win, and so is Team V. Team V decides to continue their attack, but the defense will be increased by one more player, with Jantetsu dropping back. The second half begins, and Asagi is the only one who hasn't really gotten a grip on the game yet. While all of his teammates are making brilliant blocks, saving the shots from entering their goal, he is still unsure if he can ever score and go beyond his limitations. The ball then reaches Chigiri, and Jantetsu is his marking man. Chigiri realizes that he cannot beat Jantetsu in a foot race in a short distance, since his ability is boosted by acceleration. So Chigiri makes a 10-meter pass ahead to himself, knowing that at the longer distance, he can beat the man. He does just that, then races past the defenders, scoring the equalizing goal for his team. The score was 3-3, and just like Japan in this World Cup, coming together to equalize in the second half, this game is not over. The ball reaches Ryo's feet, and he's astonished that the supposedly weakest team in Blue Lock is putting up a fight with just 10 players. Reflecting on his past, Ryo recalls his parents treating him like a child, and he yearns to assert himself in football. However, the field appears congested, with no apparent attacking options for his team, raising the risk of a loss. Naji, positioned by the post, notices Ryo's dismayed expression and experiences a sudden awakening of determination. Recognizing that an action would lead to their first defeat, Naji, typically passive, drops back, requests the ball from Ryo, and receives it. This unexpected move perplexes Team Z, making them vulnerable. Naji, displaying newfound agility, dribbles past defenders, outsmarting Agamotto with a clever lob, and passes to Shiguri. Surprisingly, Shiguri outran Chigiri and delivered a pass to Naji in the penalty area. Although unaccustomed to taking initiative, Naji receives the ball at a challenging angle and scores a remarkable goal, reversing the game to Team V's advantage at 4-3. With only 15 minutes remaining, Team Z must shift from a defensive stance to an offensive one after the kickoff. Bakura advances with the ball, and Asagi contemplates how to impact the game. Aware that conceding another goal would make a comeback impossible, Asagi uses his newfound spatial awareness to identify a weakness in the opposition's defense. He passes to Chigiri, whose shot is blocked, leading to subsequent attempts until Kunigami finally scores, leveling the game. Asagi celebrates unlocking his ability, allowing him to foresee brief moments in the future regarding positioning and ball movement. Meanwhile, Kwon, the top goal scorer, wrestles with conflicting emotions, uncertain if his individual success aligns with his aspirations. As the clock ticks down, Team V plans to play from the back, but Tsurugi's unexpected long pass catches Naji's run. Naji, pursued by Asagi, skillfully passes the ball to himself using his back, creating a clear path to the goal. In a crucial moment, Kwon tackles Naji, earning a red card and leaving the field. With 3 minutes remaining, Ryo prepares for a free kick. Lemon anticipates Ryo's intent to score rather than pass, making a crucial save. Naji seizes the loose ball, dribbles past defenders, and chips it towards the goal. Gakamaru intervenes, redirecting the ball to Asagi's feet, providing a glimmer of hope for a miraculous finish. The timer is ticking. Asagi sprints with the ball, flanked by 3 teammates. Although Team V's defense is mostly back in their own half, making a goal seem easy, Asagi is aware of their formidable skills. Instead of taking a straightforward shot, he cleverly maneuvers the ball between teammates on their way to the goal. A crucial sideways pass to Kunigami for a long-range shot is thwarted by Sadaki's sliding tackle. With seconds left and the ball heading out of bounds, Reichi saves it, passing to Bakura. Spotting Asagi free at the back post, Bakura delivers the pass as planned. Yet as Asagi prepares to shoot, Naji appears to block him. Confused and unsure, Asagi recalls his strengths: direct shots without extra touches. Despite Naji's attempt to startle him, Asagi confidently slams the ball into the net, securing a 5-4 victory for Team Z in the Blue Lock competition. Team Z jubilantly celebrates their qualification for the next round, while Team V and Ryo are left stunned by their defeat to the perceived underdogs. Kwon observes the scene, and when Kunigami tries to include Kwon in the celebration, Reichi intervenes, settling a past dispute with a punch. It's evident the team has reconciled, with no lingering animosity. That night, Bakura and Asagi discuss newfound abilities and knowledge gained in the game. Issa claims increased understanding post-match. Hearing the somber departure of unsuccessful participants from Blue Lock, Izadi and Bakira reflect on how their success may have shattered the dreams of others. Instead of dampening their spirits, this realization fuels their determination. Nico, surviving as Team Wee's top scorer, expresses determination to defeat Asagi next time. Izadi welcomes the challenge. The following day, Ego announces physical training without the ball before the next level, emphasizing their status as the lowest-ranked building. Despite initial reluctance, the crew perseveres through 10 days of rigorous training. As the first selection concludes, the players are directed to the building's central basement, only to be surprised by the appearance of players from Teams X and Della, ranked 237th. Ego reveals the earlier deception about the 5 buildings in their ranking, designed to challenge their self-assurance and drive them to be the best. The second selection will involve individual entry onto the field. Team Z huddles, pledging luck and a reunion on the other side. Rinatoshi, displaying impressive skills, casually enters the second stage, leaving Izadi intrigued by his familiar-sounding name. Izadi follows him and walks down a small tunnel to find himself in a field. A holographic Blue Lock man stands in goal, and Izadi is sent a ball from the wall beside him. A red circle appears and starts closing around him, prompting him to shoot from within it. Izadi misses a hurried shot, but then realizes this is the next test and starts making better shots. As soon as he scores the first goal, a timer of 90 minutes appears in which he has to score a total of 100 goals. The challenge becomes even harder after the first 30 goals, as the timer doesn't reset, and he has to continue scoring goals with hologram defenders present as well. Soon, the challenge gets even harder as the balls thrown at him are no longer at the desired pace, and the defenders start moving as well. However, Izagi enjoys the challenge, and after that 10-day physical training, he has plenty of stamina to adjust himself and find a good rhythm at the test. He soon finishes the challenge and heads to the new room, which already has a bunch of competitors who had passed the challenge just like him. Moments later, Bakura also enters the place, and they are both happy to see each other. They are then told by Ego that in order to enter the next stage of the test, they need to form a group of 3. Bakura and Izadi decide to wait for Kunigami and Shigri and take into their team whoever comes first. Suddenly, Izagi is approached by Naji, who invites him to join Ryo's team. Ryo is taken aback by Naji's decision. Naji explains that Izagi was the most remarkable player in their game and that he wants to play football with him. Izagi refuses, claiming that he's on a team with Bakura. To all of their shock, Naji then asks to be in his group instead. Ryo, frustrated, is taken even further aback but accepts it after realizing how serious he is. The decision is all up to Izagi, and even though he wanted to wait for his friends, he knows that Naji is the best player he knew, so he decides to take him into their team. The 3 of them head to the next level of the test. Inside, they find Rimatoshi, Jubairyu, and Ashito Kimitsu, the 3 top players in the whole of Blue Lock, according to their new ranking. They seem to be the best of the bunch and are confident that they can win against anyone who comes their way. Once again, Ego appears on the screen to explain the rules of the next matchup. The third stage is a 3-on-3 minigame in which a Blue Lock man serves as the goalkeeper. Whichever team scores 5 goals first wins. The victorious team then steals a player from the losing team to make a 4-man squad. The fourth stage is then a 4-on-4 match. The winning team once again steals a member to create a 5-man squad. The newly formed 5-man team then clears the 5th stage and passes the second selection. The losing 3-man team becomes a 2-man squad and competes against another 2-man team. The player who is not chosen from the losing 2-man squad will be disqualified. The rules are announced. They can pick anyone to be their opponent as long as the opponents agree to play against them. This news gets Izadi and his crew excited, but the other group doesn't seem to care. They seem to be super confident, and this flares something up inside of Izadi. He walks up to them and challenges this best of the bunch to the 3-on-3 matchup. In the realm of Japanese football, these 3 individuals stand out as the top performers, earning them the status of formidable players. The setting shifts to a condensed football field for a 3-on-3 match, where the stakes are high. The victor gains the right to recruit a player from the losing team. The game concludes when one side scores 5 goals and a Blue Lock holographic goalkeeper is provided to each team. Isagi's team represents the white side, while Rin's team dons the red jerseys. The initial moments favor Isagi's team, with Rin and his teammates on the defensive. Izadi, Bakura, and Naji execute a series of passes, culminating in a spectacular goal orchestrated by Bakura. Confidence surges through the team, leading Izagi to believe that overcoming the best in Blue Lock might not be an insurmountable challenge. However, Ashi seizes control of the ball expressing disdain for the perceived lack of skill and passion on the field. Rin surprises everyone with an audacious move, scoring a goal right from the kickoff and swiftly equalizing the game. Rin's boldness continues to unsettle Asagi's team. The clash intensifies as Rin emphasizes the significance of football as a battlefield, where one must be prepared to risk everything. Undeterred, Asagi's team presses on, determined to prove themselves against Rin's exceptionally skilled squad. A back-and-forth ensues, with Asagi's team initially taking the lead, only to face setbacks as Ashi and Eryu showcase their individual prowess. Asagi's team adapts, strategizing to counter Rin's team's strengths. However, Tokimitsu undergoes a transformation, using his negative mindset as a source of strength, scoring crucial goals for Rin's team. As Rin's team relies on individual skills, Asagi's team struggles to maintain their teamwork-oriented approach. Despite moments of brilliance, Rin's team secures a commanding lead. Asagi's team regroups, deciding to switch to a 3-on-3 triangle formation to capitalize on opportunities and enhance possession. This tactical shift pays off as Naji scores, revitalizing Asagi's team. The game remains intense, with Rin's team ultimately securing victory. Asagi realizes Rin intentionally showcased his superior skill, leaving a spot open for a shot. Despite their defeat, Asagi and his team persist in their short pass strategy. The final score of 5-2 allows Rin's team to select one member from Asagi's team, leading to Bakura's departure. Although disappointed, Bakura encourages Asagi to embrace the inner monster within himself if he wants to reclaim him. Dejected, Asagi and Naji await the arrival of other two-man teams in the second stage room. Asagi recognizes their loss, attributing it to his individual skill shortcomings and reliance on teammates. Naji, observing Asagi's despondency, admonishes him for choosing football over his only friend and urges him not to give up. Encouraged, Asagi resolves to prove his ability without Bakura. Naji deduces that this selection round assesses individual skills, a departure from their previous emphasis on team play. The smaller field and fewer participants amplify the impact of individual skills, prompting Asagi to realize the necessity of excelling in one-on-one duels. Despite frustration, they acknowledge that winning is the only remedy for their emotions. Bero enters the room later, and Asagi realizes he must defeat him to survive. Naji, surprised by Bero's presence, questions his strength compared to before. An argument ensues between Bero and Naji, but Asagi intervenes, avoiding a confrontation with Bardo's team. Asagi's old teammate Naruhaya arrives and reveals his team's recent loss due to Bero's selfish play style. With a 24-hour wait before selecting the next opponent, Naruhaya advises caution. Bero belittles his teammates, prompting Naruhaya to remind him to stay calm. Bono declares his intention not to hide and offers to crush them. Naji suggests choosing Bero's team for the next opponent, seeking a strong teammate. Asagi agrees but acknowledges they're not on Bero's level. He realizes they need players like Bakura or Ryo who understand their weapons and excel at passing. The next day, Asagi trains with a Blue Lock man, acknowledging his growing abilities but recognizing the need for improvement. Naruhaya, noticing Asagi, challenges him to the next game, emphasizing the importance of taking risks. Determined, Asagi accepts. In the ensuing game, both Bero and Naruhaya demonstrate improved skills. Bero exceeds the expected range with a goal from 29 meters. Naji faces off against Bero, while Asagi takes on Naruhaya, realizing his skills are lacking even against him, with the outcome of the game hinging on Asagi's ability to defeat Naruhaya. Naji's dormant prowess emerges, urging Asagi to direct the ball to any available space on the field. Bero underestimates the tactic, but Naji unveils a novel strategy to outmaneuver the king, leveraging his exceptional control. With finesse, Naji scores, equalizing the game. Capitalizing on Bero's ego, Naji instructs Asagi to press him, leading to a successful steal. Naji's dynamic strategy forces defenders into a dilemma, and Asagi's aggressive pass results in another goal, giving them the lead. As the game intensifies, Bero's frustration peaks, and he takes a shot, saved by the goalie. However, Naruhaya seizes the loose ball and assists Bero in scoring, leveling the score at 2-2. Asagi gains possession, but Naruhaya reveals his motive for playing against Asagi's team. He not only wanted Naji but believed he could defeat Asagi due to their past experience. Asagi attempts a pass, intercepted by Naruhaya, leading to Bero's goal and a 3-2 score. Naji and Asagi struggle with opposing weaknesses, but Nagi's goal ties the game at 3-3. Frustrated, Asagi acknowledges his inferior talent but resolves to discover his shortcomings. Bero attempts a direct shot, blocked by Naji. Naruhaya steals the ball, leading to Bardo's goal and a 4-3 score. Realizing his blind spot, Isagi has a breakthrough, understanding off-the-ball moments. He integrates this knowledge, scoring and equalizing at 4-4. Naji tries to talk, but Isagi is focused on reshaping his approach. Izagi chooses Barrow for blue lock, recognizing the king's journey isn't over. Naruhoya accepts defeat, acknowledging Izagi's unique adaptability. The day before, Kunigami and Chigri consider their third team member, identifying the need for a passer. They invite Ryo, assuming his sulking is due to Naji. Chigri seeks revenge against Izagi and Bakira. Kunigami invites Ryo to join their team, setting the stage for the next phase. Izagi, Naji, and Barrow find themselves in a competition for a coveted new bed. Surprisingly, despite Barrow's seemingly inflated ego, he approaches matters with meticulous care, akin to a diligent maid. Izagi discerns that Barrow's adherence to unyielding rules contributes significantly to his prowess in battle. Recognizing the potential for a formidable partnership, Izagi extends an invitation to Barrow to engage in joint training sessions. Their collaborative efforts reveal Barrow's unique approach to preparation. He undergoes an intense hour-long workout routine before even laying hands on the ball. This focused and straightforward regimen, it turns out, is the source of his strength. Observing this, Izagi and Naji willingly join him in his pre-game rituals to ensure they aren't left trailing behind. Meanwhile, Entry updates the Japan Football Union on the ongoing project, emphasizing the importance of improved communication skills and self-awareness for effective teamwork. The overarching goal is to mold the players into independent and unparalleled strikers. However, Ego, skeptical of their motives, questions the nature of talent, wondering whether it's an innate ability or a product of physical prowess. He perceives Blue Lock's endeavor as merely churning out moneymakers. Returning from their training, Isagi and Naji discover Barrow comfortably asleep on the contested bed. While Naji is inclined to evict him, Izagi persuades him otherwise, acknowledging Barrow's earlier efforts in tidying up the room. On another front, Kunigami, Ryo, and Chigri focus on enhancing their teamwork. They deliberate on selecting their next opponent, considering the need to recruit a strong teammate to counter Isagi's team, which they believe has strengthened to at least 4 players. While Kunigami and Chigri maintain a more relaxed perspective, Ryo is resolute in his determination to outplay Naji, whom he deems unnecessary. In the midst of his routine, Izagi reflects on Naruhoya's comment about his genius adaptability. He contemplates the meaning of getting stronger to match opponents and sets his sights on convincing the self-centered king to adopt a more collaborative style of play. However, when attempting to understand Barrow's playing style, Izagi encounters resistance, as Barrow insists on adhering to his solo scoring approach. Izagi asserts that Barrow's reluctance to embrace teamwork is a weakness, leading to a clash of opinions. Barrow argues that if Izagi desired teamwork, he should have chosen Naruhoya instead. Ego, with a skeptical eye, contemplates the essence of talent, emphasizing the demonstration of competence. In the midst of this discussion, Izagi and Naji, returning from their training, find Barrow peacefully asleep on the coveted bed, leading to a compromise for the night's sleeping arrangements. Later, Kunigami stumbles upon Izagi during a bath, surprised to find him still in Stage 3. Izagi shares the recent events involving the capture of Bakira and Barrow, and expresses his dissatisfaction with Naruhoya's fate. Chigri and Naji tease Izagi for not waiting for them, but also acknowledge that they would have done the same if approached by Naji. Naji encounters King once again, receiving a scolding. The conversation shifts to their next opponent, and suddenly, Ryo declares that they will face Isagi's team in the upcoming match. Chigri and Kunigami readily agree, while Naji, eager to greet his best friend, is met with a stern declaration from Ryo, who vows to crush him. Accepting the challenge, Izagi's team gears up for the impending clash. Naji, curious about the quick acceptance of the challenge, queries Izagi, who explains that he didn't want their team to be underestimated. Despite each member desiring different players for their team, they decide to set aside differences and focus on the game. Kunigami and his team, on the other hand, strategize meticulously for their upcoming match against Isagi's team. Their plan involves attacking from the sides, with Kunigami marking Barrow and Ryo focusing on Izagi to demonstrate his physical superiority to Naji. Chigri is tasked with handling Naji. As the highly anticipated game unfolds, Izagi, despite feeling an unusual calmness, witnesses Barrow struggling against Kunigami's tight marking. Ryo and Kunigami manage to overwhelm Izagi in the midfield. Barrow attempts to control the ball independently, but Kunigami